Previously on the show, Nadia's friend cast a spell that allowed Katherine to take permanent control of Elena's body. Possessing Elena, Katherine broke up with Damon, enraging him and leading to his total downfall. When Damon and Enzo found Maxfield, they were ambushed by a group of travelers. Later, Maxfield injected Damon with something, and now Damon has begun feeding on other vampires. Ever since Damon was injected with the Ripper virus, he's had to drain a vampire every 8 hours to survive. Despite everything, Enzo refuses to abandon Damon. He turns humans into vampires just to feed Damon. Damon's feeding habits are grotesque. He rips off the heads of vampires, becoming even more vicious than a born Ripper. As they prepare to leave, the travelers find them again and set up a barrier, trapping them. Now, Enzo's in a tough spot. Meanwhile, Katherine, under the guise of studying history, is flirting with Stefan, but her knowledge of history is so perfect that it makes Stefan suspicious. At that moment, Caroline shows up with intel from the police. Damon and Enzo have been going around killing and feeding on vampires. Stefan frowns deeply. As a natural-born Ripper, he knows just how dangerous Damon is right now, but he's determined to go after him anyway. Katherine agrees to go with him. Before they leave, Tyler calls and reveals that Matt has gone missing, and it's very likely Nadia's doing. Hearing this makes Katherine anxious. She's worried her body-switching secret will get out, so she privately contacts her daughter Nadia and asks her to kill Matt. But Nadia has feelings for Matt. She wants to wait for the verbena in his system to wear off, then compel him and erase his memories. Afterward, they split up. Stefan and Katherine go to find Damon, while Caroline goes to meet up with Tyler. During the journey, Katherine went to great lengths to stall for time. First, she sabotaged the car's engine, and then she smeared grease on her clothes.
Now there's grease all over your face.
I saw a hotel, like a couple streets down that way. Do you think we should get a room?
Stefan, focused on finding Damon, doesn't notice Katherine's little tricks. They have no choice but to stop at a motel for the night. On the other side, when Caroline and Tyler meet up, things are a bit awkward. As they're getting ready to search for Matt, he shows up on his own, and he seems to be on surprisingly good terms with Nadia. This leaves Caroline and Tyler completely puzzled. Caroline and Tyler initially thought Matt had been compelled by Nadia, but Matt was wearing a bracelet infused with verbena. Caroline tests him herself and confirms Matt hasn't been compelled, so she and Tyler leave. If Matt was fully conscious, then why would he be covering for Nadia? He must have some reason he can't reveal. Enzo, the more level-headed of the two, tries to convince Damon to ask Stefan or Elena for help, but Damon refuses. He's just cut ties with them, and his pride won't allow it.
My life is not worth your pride.
They won't come.
Or they will, but then you might hurt them. You don't want to risk that, do you? Me, on the other hand.
Enzo, however, sees the situation clearly. It's not Damon's pride stopping him. It's his fear that he might hurt Stefan or Elena. Night falls, and Damon is an hour away from losing control. Enzo chains him up tightly and calls Stefan for help. This infuriates Damon. To make matters worse, Stefan is in the bathroom, and Katherine answers the phone. After learning about their situation, she promises to come quickly, but she hides everything from Stefan. The two wait for backup, but instead Maxfield shows up and shoots Enzo. The scent of blood causes Damon to lose control early. He breaks free from the chains and becomes a bloodthirsty monster, leaving Enzo defenseless. Meanwhile, Katherine makes her move on Stefan. While she was showering, she first asked Stefan to bring her clothes and then deliberately left the door ajar. The view through the crack was so beautiful that it made Stefan a little obsessed for a while. Who could resist such temptation? But Stefan holds strong. Katherine, however, won't give up so easily. She sneaks up behind Stefan, her hands wandering over him. But thoughts of his brother Damon's suffering snap Stefan's conscience back into place. He pushes Katherine away. The opportunity was fleeting, and Katherine didn't dare to take another step forward. Otherwise, her identity would be revealed. While Stefan steps outside to pay for the motel room, Katherine can't hide her excitement. She and Stefan were one step closer. At the same time, Damon is viciously feeding on Enzo, whose life is hanging by a thread. Suddenly, Damon lets go of Enzo and vomits all the blood. It turns out this was all part of Maxfield's experiment. He had increased the acidity in Enzo's blood. Enzo still has value to Maxfield, who offers to let him go in exchange for doing him a favor. but Enzo refuses to leave. He doesn't want to abandon Damon, even though Damon once left him behind. In the end, after Damon's persuasion, Enzo reluctantly left, knowing that staying wouldn't change anything. Meanwhile, the verbena in Matt's system had finally worn off, and Nadia was about to erase his memory. But to her surprise, Matt kissed her, and Nadia got lost in the moment. While they're getting intimate, Matt secretly starts composing a text message. He had been deceiving Nadia all along, waiting for this moment to arrive, but Nadia catches him. With no other choice, Matt sends the unfinished message. An enraged Nadia erases Matt's memory, but Caroline arrives, having received Matt's message. Unfortunately, the text only contains the letter K, which doesn't lead anyone to suspect a supposedly dead person. To prevent things from spiraling out of control, Nadia decides to kill Caroline. But just as she's about to strike, Tyler arrives. A hybrid's venom is deadly to vampires. Tyler pins Nadia down and bites her, but Nadia manages to dodge and eventually escapes in a panic. Since Matt's memory has been wiped, he's completely confused and has no idea why he sent the text. Elsewhere, Katherine and Stefan finally find Damon. Damon shouts at them to stay back, warning that the barrier is still up and that he could lose control at any moment. To his surprise, Katherine steps inside the barrier. It's exactly the kind of thing Elena would do. But Katherine has no intention of saving Damon. She's setting a trap to kill him. Damon, moved at first, quickly becomes terrified. He tries to push Katherine out, but the barrier won't budge. Stefan steps into the barrier as well. Katherine deliberately cuts her hand, pretending it's to help Damon, but in reality, she's baiting him. Damon struggles to control his bloodlust. Even Stefan is baffled by Katherine's actions. Damon had originally restrained his bloodlust, but he never expected Katherine to lure him again. An out-of-control Damon suddenly bit Katherine, and Stefan immediately rushed to her rescue. As Katherine screams in pain, she kicks a wooden stake towards Stefan, hoping he'll use it to kill Damon. But Katherine has underestimated the bond between the brothers. Instead of taking the stake, Stefan uses a shard of glass to slice his own wrist, diverting Damon's attention. Then, in a quick move, he snaps Damon's neck. Katherine's plan falls apart. Afterward, Stefan locks Damon in the cellar. He will never give up on his brother. But Damon, dejected, says, "Elena already has." It turns out that during his rampage, Damon saw Katherine kick the stake towards Stefan with his own eyes.
So what are you saying? You saying that Elena wanted me to kill you?
You got another excuse?
Stefan finally realizes, after Damon's hint, that something is off with Elena. At the same time, Katherine goes to meet up with her daughter Nadia. Although her plan to kill Damon had failed, she was confident that winning Stefan's heart was just within reach. However, Nadia seems downcast.
Tyler Lockwood bit me.
For once, Tyler did something right. Caroline tells Stefan about the text message. Without any clues at first, the letter K quickly gives Stefan a lead. Nadia is Katherine's daughter. Matt was once possessed by the Travelers, and combining that with Elena's strange behavior since Katherine's death, Caroline starts to see the truth. They had once figured out the sire bond together, and now they've uncovered Katherine's body swap.
Oh my god.
Once Katherine's secret possession of Elena is exposed, Stefan gathers his friends to discuss how to drive Katherine's soul out of Elena's body. Only the Traveler's dagger can kill a soul, and it just so happens that Matt has one. Ever since Nadia was poisoned by werewolf venom, Katherine's maternal instincts had been fully awakened. Desperate to save her daughter, Katherine calls on the twisted Maxfield, hoping he can create a cure for the venom. In fact, Katherine has another option. She could seek out Klaus for the cure. But Katherine knows better. Klaus was never her friend, and there's a good chance she'd never come back if she went to him. To lure Katherine out, Caroline and Bonnie both call her one after the other, but Katherine comes up with various excuses to dodge them. On the phone, they exchange pleasantries, but in reality, both sides are seething with anger. Stefan feeds Damon his blood every few hours to help him stay sane. After hearing that Caroline and the others have failed, Stefan decides to handle things himself. He's confident Katherine won't say no to him. But before Stefan even dials her number, Damon's phone rings. It's Katherine. The brothers are caught off guard. When Damon answers, Katherine makes small talk before suggesting a meetup. Without thinking, Damon agrees. Is Katherine walking right into a trap? After hanging up, Katherine's face darkens. Damon knows how dangerous he is, so why would he agree to a meeting and put Elena at risk? Adding that to Caroline and the others acting strange, the answer becomes clear. In this battle of wits, It's clear that Katherine was the smarter one.
She knows.
She hurriedly takes Nadia and flees, hiding out in a church. Meanwhile, Bonnie enlists rookie witch Liv to track down Katherine's location. Under Bonnie's guidance, Liv grows more confident with the locator spell, even managing to flirt with Jeremy while casting it. Liv's spell pinpoints Katherine's hiding spot in the church. Meanwhile, Tyler is in charge of watching over Damon. To escape, Damon keeps provoking Tyler with words, especially when he brings up how Klaus killed Tyler's mother and slept with his girlfriend. Tyler, unable to hold back any longer, storms into the cellar, ready to give Damon a beating. But Damon had planned this all along. He strikes first and takes Tyler down. After escaping the dungeon, Damon finds out from Enzo where Maxfield is hiding. At that moment, Maxfield had just finished creating a vial of yellow serum. This might be the cure to save Nadia. Damon pins Maxfield down on the operating table, determined to make him feel the pain of being dissected piece by piece. Not long after, Katherine arrives to check on the progress of the cure, only to find Maxfield disemboweled. With their last hope gone, Katherine starts to panic. Just then, Nadia calls, but when Katherine answers, Stefan's voice is on the other end. While Katherine was gone, Stefan found Nadia in the church and brought her back to the Salvatore mansion. Katherine continues pretending to be Elena.
I know that it's you, and I know that you care about Nadia. That's why I brought her here.
Prove it.
Now that she had been exposed, Katherine no longer needed to keep up the act. Stefan hands the phone to a dying Nadia, who uses all her strength to cry out for her mother to run. Stefan immediately takes the phone back and gives Katherine an ultimatum. Anyone who knows Katherine would expect her to flee. After all, she's a perfect self-preservationist, but she makes a shocking decision. Even though Nadia is beyond saving, Katherine, determined to see her daughter one last time, walks right into the trap. Everyone steps aside, giving them a chance to say their goodbyes. Nadia is deeply moved. Her mother risked everything to see her. Looking at her dying daughter, Katherine is filled with regret. She shouldn't have put all her hope in Maxfield. She should have gone to Klaus sooner. Hearing this, the group can't help but feel a little sad. After all, the way they forced Katherine to reveal herself was far from honorable. Suddenly, Nadia begins convulsing violently. The werewolf venom is causing hallucinations, and in her confusion, she instinctively searches for her mother. Katherine has spent 500 years running, and Nadia has spent 500 years searching for her. These words are etched deeply into her very soul. Nadia keeps repeating them over and over. Hearing this breaks Katherine's heart. Using her vampire powers, she creates a peaceful dream for her daughter. In the dream, the mother and daughter were never separated, and they lived an ordinary but happy life.
Good night, Nadia.
Nadia passed away in a beautiful dream, receiving her mother's love in her final moments. Nadia's soul watches this scene, shedding tears of happiness. Then she passed through Bonnie's body and entered the other side. This time, the pain for Bonnie wasn't as intense. Katherine gathered all her grief and gently closed her daughter's eyes. In the next moment, she uses her vampiric speed to dash for the door, but no one moves to stop her, because Damon is waiting right outside.
Hello, Katherine. You didn't think I'd miss this, did you?
There was no turning back anyway, so Katherine had nothing to lose. She says her goodbyes to everyone in her own unique way, some with sarcasm, some with advice, and some with blessings. The truth is, everyone in that room's fate is deeply intertwined with Katherine's. Tyler only activated his werewolf gene because of Katherine's machinations. Caroline, she was the one who personally turned Caroline into a vampire.
Because we both know I made you better by making you a vampire. Goodbye, Katherine. Bye-bye, Caroline.
Matt, as the only human in the group, is someone Katherine actually admires the most. It's rare for someone to hold on to their humanity when faced with immortality and power. Even though Katherine calls Jeremy a little rat, she's envious of Elena for having a brother like him.
Bonbon, no need for goodbyes. I'll see you on the flip side.
When it comes to Damon, though, Katherine's tone is dripping with irony. She regrets turning him into a vampire, turning a simple country boy into someone driven by passion, ambition, and desire.
I'll see you in hell, Katherine.
Her final farewell is reserved for Stefan. Katherine confesses her love to him, saying she has never regretted loving him. As she leans in to kiss him, Stefan drives the traveler's dagger into her, killing Katherine.
I guess this is how our love story ends.
While waiting for Elena to wake up, Matt takes it upon himself to bury Nadia. Tyler and Caroline finally have an honest conversation. Caroline has let go of the past. She no longer feels guilty about sleeping with Klaus because it was Tyler who gave up on her first. They are officially over. Meanwhile, Bonnie goes to the church alone to light a candle for her late father, but she's unexpectedly visited by Katherine's spirit. As a doppelganger, Katherine was still considered a supernatural being. Her ghostly presence confirms that she's truly dead. Bonnie prepares to guide Katherine to the other side, but Katherine, ever chatty, feels the need to explain why she willingly walked into the trap. It turns out Katherine had a backup plan. When she realized that Maxfield hadn't created a cure, but an enhanced version of the Ripper virus, she came up with a plan for mutual destruction.
Katherine, what did you do? Stefan thought he gave me a choice. Run or die, but that's not really much of a choice, is it? And I wasn't about to let my daughter die alone. But Katherine Pierce wasn't about to go gentle either.
Before arriving, Katherine injected the virus into Elena's body. Even in death, Katherine had to take someone down with her. That's so very Katherine. At the same time, Elena woke up, but before the brothers could even celebrate, she discovered an empty syringe in her pocket. Katherine, feeling quite pleased with herself, placed her hand on Bonnie's shoulder, preparing to cross over to the other side. But nothing happened. Bonnie is just as confused. This has never happened before. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept through, sending Katherine flying backward. A powerful force dragged her away, and Katherine vanished completely into the darkness.